Hey everybody, welcome back to Black Magic Craft. A few days ago, I made a video testing out these PanPastels that I had bought that day. This is a fun video to make, and I was really excited about the results I got with them. Problem is that it was rushed. It was my first impressions, and I didn't give these time to really dig into them to see how they actually acted in the bigger picture. And I don't want to leave you thinking that what was done in last video is the end all be all about these and that the results are exactly what you should expect. I've played with them a bit more. I've learned some things about them, both good and bad. First of all, I still love them and I think they're great. I'm excited to use them for all sorts of different things. However, they don't actually work exactly how I thought they might in the last test. I wanted to see how these would react with washes, both with and without clear coats. So yesterday, to do that, I applied clear coats to my test pieces. The clear coat dulls the color, darkens it a lot. Not a little bit, a lot. This got me playing with a bunch of different things on these test pieces, so I can't really show you exactly what it looks like because I've done other things on them. But today I'm actually gonna make some new fresh pieces, applying some of the PanPastels and doing clear coats so you can see what I'm talking about. Whoa, that was full newfie. First thing to address is, do you actually need a clear coat? And I would say that if you are using PanPastels the way I used on this build, just to add some weathering, some colors, if you're using them like pigment powders as a final step, just to add some different tones, no, I wouldn't bother putting a clear coat on it. It's not gonna rub off on this. If the majority of the piece is traditional paint and you just apply some of these at an end step, it's gonna be fine. If you use these in the way that I did in the last test video where it basically was the paint job, you're gonna want a clear coat because I think it will rub off over time. I've also learned that you wanna use clear coats between colors and shades if you wanna keep a differentiation between them. If you apply one color to a piece and then apply another one, it's gonna blend them, which could be good if that's what you want, but if that's not what you want, if you want to get a distinct tonal difference, you got to clear coat between colors. Another bit of housekeeping is just a little bit of safety stuff. This is very dusty. It kind of makes a mess, just so you know, and wearing a mask would be best practice because you are going to end up breathing some of this in, which cannot be good for you. I'm talking to a camera, so I'm not wearing a mask, but I have a fan set up here so that it at least blows the dust away from me, and that's something you could do as well. I was also applying with a brush, and if you look at their information on their website, they recommend using application sponges. They have these high quality, nice sponges. For our purposes, a cheaper makeup sponge is fine. The important thing to note is that applying with a brush versus one of these foam pads, I played around yesterday with some tests, but for now, so you can see the whole thing, I have got some pieces that are just primed black. I'm gonna use two different colors and do duplicates, and I'm going to apply a clear coat to one of each color so you can see the difference, how much it tones things down, and so that we can then try a wash on top of both of them. I'm gonna go with this bright green and this burnt sienna. And you can see that with the brush, it's very, very dusty. We're getting a lot of dust settling in crevices. If you apply with a sponge, it goes on a lot stronger and a lot less dusty. Now we have these great looking pieces, but we have to accept the fact that they aren't gonna stay like this. Now I'll take one of each, clear coat it in some matte varnish, let it dry, and you'll be able to see the difference for better or for worse. Hey, just want to pause the vid and let you know that Into the AM has launched their fall collection and added a bunch of nice stuff to their store. They've added several more colors to their awesome hoodies, which is great because they're very cozy hoodies and I find myself wearing them often. Although let's be honest, I'm mostly gonna wear the black one. They've also expanded the color range of their Henleys and button-ups. In the past couple of years, I've become a hardcore sweatpants guy, and theirs are the most comfortable ones I own. The fall collection also has a ton of appropriate graphic tees and graphic print hoodies, but the basics are what you really want to stock up on for daily wears. Being a little more stylish doesn't mean you have to be uncomfortable. You can still wear cozy, soft clothing while looking like you give a shit. You just need some of the proper staples. Go check out Into the AM if you want to upgrade your wardrobe and elevate your style a little bit. The best thing is, they've always got a ton of really good deals. If you go there using the link in my description, you'll get an extra 10% off your entire order. And if you're planning on buying a bunch of stuff, they have these amazing bundle packs at a deal. And that 10% discount that you can get through using my link stacks with those savings, making it even better. So what are you waiting for? Go get some of that fall collection. All right, take a look at these. As you can see, the clear coat darkens things up a lot. It still looks very nice, but it's not the same thing. Actually, this looks wonderful. This would be a great way to quickly paint a rusty industrial city, just a coat of this, then a clear coat. But if you're trying to use these to get these kind of vibrant colors, this just isn't gonna work out for you. However, look at these two. Which one is clear coated? One of these is clear coated and one of them is not. There is almost no change in color. The difference is that these ones were primed in white. I think that's the trick to getting bright colors that stay vibrant after a clear coat. This is actually more vibrant than the original ones on black. Very different color, but color much closer to the actual pigment. This leads me to believe that the ideal way to use these is somewhere in the middle. Getting back to a type of painting that I'm used to, zenithal highlighting. You could probably just go with this and then do a wash, but I think if you combine these two things, primed in black, did a zenithal highlight, and then tinted with these pastels, you would end up with the best of both worlds. Bright, vibrant colors on the highlights and still some darkness in the crevices. So before I test washes on these, I want to try out that theory. Boom, look at this. Turned out just how I had hoped it would. You can see compared to the white, it didn't turn as yellow. It stayed more of a green, which is actually a lot closer to this one, which is not clear coated. So in the end, you can get those vibrant colors, great blends, all the stuff I hoped you could with this. You just need to take some considerations with your priming. That being said, straight onto black primer with a clear coat, I really like the look. It just depends what you're going for. But now I'm curious to see how they react to washes. Personally, I no longer mess with water-based washes. I always use oils, but I know a lot of you will of course still be using traditional washes. So I'm gonna test both, matte medium, flow aid, water, and I'm just gonna use black for both of these to keep it simple. And let's make an oil wash. Let's start with the original black primer, no clear coat. Let's first see how water reacts to each of them. Well, I actually expected this to rub the paint off, but I don't think it is. Try it on the rusty looking one. Water based on the clear coated one. And then my zenithal highlight with clear coat. Now let's try out the oil. The first thing that was interesting is that neither the water wash nor the oil wash wiped away any of this unsealed pastel. However, in both the sealed and unsealed versions, the water wash and the oil wash just darkened it up to a point where it just turned it black. I probably mixed both of them darker than I should have, and kind of seemed like both worked pretty decently on this last one. If using water washes, you're kind of stuck with it being what it is. But that's why I like oil washes, because in theory, I can now remove all the stuff I don't like. However, I've never done this on pastels, so who knows? It might not work so well. So this is the unsealed one. Let's see how that goes. Oops, that's too much. Went a bit heavy there. She doesn't seem to be wiping much away at all. On the sealed one, I'm realizing now, slight problem. I primed these black with a rattle can primer and white with a rattle can primer, which means that this thinner actually takes that off. I'm going right down to the gray at this point. If you're gonna use oil washes on these, yeah, you're gonna have to prime it with polyurethane primer. That being said, if you catch it before it's totally dry, or do like more of a light pin wash, I think you're gonna be all right. So in conclusion, what does this all mean? Well, I still love these PanPastels. We've learned that if you put the PanPastels over black primer and then clear coat it, it's gonna darken up a lot, which if that's the look you're going for, it works really well. But if you want vibrant colors, not so great. If you put PanPastels over white, fully white primer, it retains all of that vibrancy and it looks awesome. However, it will probably need a wash. And if you do that, you want to make sure that you're using a water wash very carefully so you don't overdo it. Or if you're using an oil wash, you want to make sure your white primer is not rattle can. And last, if you do a black prime with a zenithal highlight and put PanPastels over top and then clear coat, that's kind of the ideal perfect middle ground. It still gives you all those highlights and dark spots, and you don't lose anything when you clear coat, and you can probably get away without a wash. So with a bit of practice and some more experience, these are still an absolute winner and I love them. If you already went out and bought them based on the last video, I'm sorry if you were expecting them to behave only like that, but I think you'll still find them very, very useful. I hope you liked this video. If you did, hit the like button. Let me know in the comments section below. I will still have links in the video description for these PanPastels on Amazon. If you want to get any other tools or supplies, be sure to check out blackmagicraft.ca, my essential equipment page. I link to a bunch of the stuff I use regularly. And lastly, if you like these videos I make and you get some actual value out of them, you can help me to continue making them by supporting the channel on Patreon. And I'd love to have you as the newest member of the Black Magic Craft Fellowship. That's it. That's all. PanPastels, the end. See you next time.